Let's move on to the next oral presentation with the title of Effectiveness of Daily Self-Weaning Combined with Hypocaloric Diet and Community Personalized-Dietary Conseling for Weight Loss Among Adults with Obesity in a Rural Community, Thailand, a community-based randomized controlled trial presented by Mr.Saharat Liampeng from Phramongkutklao College of Medicine.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Saharat Liampeng, a fifth-year medical student from Phramongkutklao College of Medicine. I am as a principal investigator and feel honorable to be the representative of the team for today. We are literally proud to present our initiative project idea in the topic of effectiveness of daily self-weighing combined with hypocaloric diet and community personalized dietary counseling for weight reductions among adults with obesity in rural community Thailand, a randomized controlled trial. And now today, an epidemiologic transition in Thailand is transformations that causes the illnesses from the infections into the NCD. And obesity has become the major health burden throughout the nations around the world because obesity brings about NCD, and NCD fundamentally lead to the leading causes of death like myocardial infarctions or stroke. Previous study show that the prevalence of obesity in Thailand is increasing from 33.9% in 2012 to the 44.8% in 2018. Among four main causes of obesity defined by CDC, behavioral factors and community environments are modifiable factors, and we believe that our behavioral changes by health education and self-monitoring can reduce the obesity in the community. Additionally, the strong primary healthcare system in Thailand is also our consideration to be the support system for those who get obese and can raise awareness about obesity in community sustainably. Our study is randomized controlled trials as community setting in Sanam State District, South Province. Initially, we included those of people who have the BMI greater and equal to 27.5 kilometers square and have an average age between 18 to 60 years. And then we include who diagnosed with medical conditions or receive the medications that might affect their weight during the study. 107 participants were selected at the beginning at the comfort diagram. Both arms, all participants received the same health education about weight reduction. And in addition, weighing machines and weighing note calendars and personalized counseling were provided especially for the intervention. The intervention group will weigh themselves twice a day in the morning and evening, and they will record their weight, eating behaviors, and exercise to the calendar. Well-trained village health volunteers or also more have a role to visit the intervention group once a week. They can calculate the daily calorie intake for diet recommendations by the formula personalized basal metabolic rate minus 500 kilocalories for the dietary recommendation. And the volunteer also have a role to motivate and support psychologically to the intervention group, and also have the role to detect the adverse effect of the study. So the result of the study, the demographic data show in this table 1, and the proportions of type 2 diabetes is 6%, and the hypertension is 30% of the all participants. And anthropometrics data at the beginning in the table 2, none of underlying variable at the baseline has statistically significant difference between two groups. So this is how we allocate the participants into our randomized controlled trial. In the table 3, we're showing that the evolutions of mean different BMI from the baseline after interventions. We discovered that the BMI of intervention group from 8 weeks into the end of the study are statistically significant by analysis with independent t-test. Otherwise, the BMI of the control group was slightly increasing over the time. Eventually, there are no reports on adverse symptoms during the study in both groups. In this graph, the blue line represents the mean differences of BMI in the control group, and the orange line for the intervention. Both lines become splitting significantly since the second follow-up. We also analyzed the trend of the BMI in both groups. Surprisingly, in intervention group, the mean of BMI for 20 weeks of the study decreased statistically significant by calculations with repeated measure ANOVA. For discussions, we examined the effect of weight reductions by behavioral changes and community support system, which is associated with lower BMI since the 8 week and decreasing significantly. This is the first randomized controlled trial for weight reduction in rural community of Thailand. And most previous studies usually ask the participant about the frequency, how their weight daily does might not accurately to reflect their weight behavior. Our strength is weight self-controls at a positive concern with increase in personal satisfaction, and more than that, with health volunteer as the community support system are also our strength for sustainability for the strategy. The gender is our limitations due to higher number of female, and physical activity is also limited in the COVID-19 situation. And lastly, we suggest the further study to set a goal for the weight reductions and consider in the maintenance strategy as well. In conclusion, the self-weighting combined with community support system can induce further significant weight reductions. This solution should be considered for any clinical practices or public health interventions in the future. Thank you.
Does anyone have any comments or any questions?
I would like to congratulate to your result and finding. May I ask how you explain your result?
We go back to the table two, I think. The significant differences between two groups that decreasing or increasing it's go in the 8 week, I think.
No, I mean, what is explanation for your result? How you explain why it's different, why your weight control?
We calculation for two main purposes. The first one is how differences between that week and compared to the baseline. This is how we calculate for this point. And the second point is repeated ANOVA. So in this slide, we analyze for the trend of the BMI in both groups. And we found that in the interventions group, the trend is decreasing significantly.
I would like to point out to what I asked, maybe not very clear. So how you explain the cell weight control, cell weight every day, I mean, make its effect?
Cell weight control.
Why weighting every day, making the scale every day make the result significant? How you explain that?
We can explain that it's kind of self-monitoring that lets the attentions of their weight or the and when they have attention of their weight, they will reduce the diet and go to exercise or more expenditure of the energy of the day.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask you a very quick question? It's very good presentation for the medical student level. As you use the study method, randomized control trial, you recruit some participants for 107 participants and 70 controls and 37 for study group.
Yeah.
How did you match? How did you match between two arms of the study? And I think probably, because you also present on the abstract that 93.5% were females.
Yeah.
How about men? And I'm not quite sure that have you already present about the gender difference or anything about genders in this case, and how do you match? Thank
I,
you.
I would like to go to this slide. The gender is very, it's actual our limitations that the lower of the genders in the interventions group, but you can notice that the p-value of the genders is statistically can difference. It means that the two group of interventions and controls is no differences.
Yeah. Just to comment that, okay, it's very good point that you answer this question, but as you can see, it's pretty very small number of the gender. Perhaps if you conduct this research in the future, you may indicate just only the same sex or same gender.
Yeah.
It's very good that you can answer the question. And lastly, just presentation tip that always not mention, this is the first study ever. As you also present that this is the first study that you conduct RCT in the rural something on the discussion, you shall present to the best of my knowledge, because someone might have already done, but you might not found this study. Just presentation tip, don't be serious. I will score you very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a great presentation.